Welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am your host, Eddie Ift, and we have an exciting, interesting, crazy, weird episode for you today that I hope you're going to enjoy with my guests today are one regular and one second timer. That would be Hunter, the wild card Mcintyre, and also Crazy Bobby. Crazy Bobby Williams stopped by and brought us an interesting gift. And we did a fun episode. We had dinner and then we did the episode. And I wish we recorded everything that went on so that you could see it in its entirety. But that's not how it usually works in life unless we're in a reality show. But there were some really interesting, funny things that went on off camera. But a lot went on while we were recording. So you'll get the gist of it. It's kind of a day in the life of weirdos like us. You know, I'm sure you think you're weird, and we're all weird in our own ways, but Bobby's weirder than anyone. But before we start this episode, I want to thank you all for listening. It means a lot to me. I'm not just saying that. Like, it's been a struggle with this show. It was easy in the beginning, and it just kept getting harder and harder and harder to do. And now it's fun. It's rewarding. I enjoy doing it. I love having these conversations. I wish I could do it more. It's difficult though. It's difficult to do. And, but I appreciate the comments on iTunes and the emails I receive at, wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com. Also on the Facebook page and on the Instagram page. Please follow the Instagram page. When Scott left the show, Scott had built the Instagram page for us. And, so he decided to take it with him and turn it into PostWad. So it no longer is our page. Our page now is Wadcast Podcast on Instagram. And if you follow the show, please, I do post stuff up there. There was some funny stuff with Bobby and Hunter and some funny little videos I make. And just go to our Instagram, and it's a good way to get a hold of us too. You know, you can message on Instagram. It's easier than Facebook. Facebook sucks. You can't find any of the messages. They're like hidden, and there's 7,000 different places to go. I really hope Facebook just goes out of business. Well, they won't go out of business because they'll just become Instagram because they're owned by the same people. But it's just, the easiest way to get a hold of me is on Instagram at Wadcast Podcast, Wadcast Podcast at Wadcast Podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Tiger Balm. I don't know how hard you work out, but I assume if you listen to this show, you work out pretty hard, and you know as well as I do, the pain happens, and that you're full of muscle aches and strains, and that's part of it. That's no pain, no gain, right? But suffering through the pain, that's optional these days. You don't have to suffer all the time. That's because there's Tiger Balm Active products that have become part of my workout routine. I'm just sick of being sore. So I do a couple things. Before I go to the gym or go for a run or mountain bike or whatever I do, I put on Tiger Balm Active Muscle Rub. That's Tiger Balm Active Muscle Rub. It's non-greasy, it's a warming cream, and it's designed for pre-workouts. So I get that on there before I go. That way it warms me up, gets me ready. I don't pull any muscles, don't strain anything, and it gets my muscles ready to go for my elite workouts that I'm doing. And after I work out, I do the Tiger Balm Active Muscle Gel, and that's what I'm using for my cool down. So it's I'm not saying I'm cheating. I'm just making my life easier. I'm all about rehabilitation. I'm all about recovery. So it's a non-sticky gel, and it goes cool to warm. It's got the sensation. It starts out cool, then it goes to warm, and it helps with the muscle fatigue and recovery. So it kind of allows your capillaries to open and get blood there to recover quicker. And there's another thing that Tiger Balm has that's incredible, and it's called the Tiger Balm Active Muscle Spray. If you're one of these people, you find some of the places like your back or whatever hard to get to, and you can't put it on yourself, you just spray this on. It's like suntan lotion, the spray one where people could you didn't have to have some other dude rub your back for you. Well, this is what you do. You're going to spray the Tiger Balm Active muscle spray right onto there, and it's easy to apply, and you can just keep it in your car, at your gym, or in your locker, or wherever you need. So Tiger Balm Active helps me feel on top of my game, and I want you guys to feel the same as I do, because it's really been helping me out. And I wish I'd figured out this solution a long time ago. With my schedule and how I'm in a hurry, getting myself, warmed up quickly before I work out, getting those muscles going is essential. And I just don't let it happen anymore. Not going to live in pain. So I don't let the aches and pains slow me down. So check out Tiger Balm Active. You can pick up Tiger Balm Active, all three of these products today at your local CVS or Rite Aid store. Also, you want to help out our show, go to iTunes, rate, review, and comment. Really, really, I can't implore you enough how important it is that you comment. Just go there and comment. Please give us a 5-star review. It really helps us in the ratings, and the ratings is how new listeners find out about us. And lots of listeners means ads for the show, which means I can do this regularly, which means I can get good guests, which I can get good gifts for them, stuff like that, and have good dinners for them, and make it a quality podcast. So the more you help me, the more I can put into the show, and the more I can make it a better show. So we're working hard on it right now, and I hope you love it and like it. I hope you like it, and even more hope that you love it. What else is going on? We've got some crazy stuff going on, trying to figure out if I can get to the CrossFit Games this year. I told Hunter I'd go if he can become the wild card, which we talk about this whole episode. But I have an extensive tour schedule of my own, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you're listening to this right now, this week is the first weekend I have had off this year. How about that? This is the first weekend I am not working, and I am so happy to say that. I didn't even take gigs in LA, which I probably will. But next week, which is the 22nd through the 28th, I will be in Las Vegas. I'll be in Las Vegas at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club, which is in the MGM Grand. I've already talked to a bunch of people that are going to be there. I say a lot of times that I can hook you up with tickets. That's a tough one to hook you up with tickets for. They're just expensive. It's the casino, but come out and see me. It's the nicest club in the world. One thing I will do for you, though, if you're a Wadcast listener and you message me and you're coming to the show, I will bring you backstage. How about that? I work with Brad a lot, and I bring people back, meet Brad. He's one of the nicest guys in the world. I don't believe Brad's there this week, though. I'm headlining, and I don't know who I'm with. But come see me every night except for Friday. Friday the 26th, I will be in Los Angeles. I've got to fly back on Friday, do a show at the Microsoft Theater. It'll be me, weirdly, Ray Romano. Another guy from Everybody Loves Raymond. Ray Romano, Felipe Esparza, Adam Ray, Greg Fitzsimmons. We are doing a show for, it's a charity show for Cedars-Sinai and also the Fisher House, I believe. Or is it the Fisher House? Maybe it's not Wounded Warriors. It's one of the other charities that takes care of the vets when they come back, takes care of their families. Anyways, we're doing that. It's a big, big show for Kevin and Bean. I think it's 7,000 people, 7,000. And tickets are on sale now. K-Rock, Kevin Bean, Microsoft Theater. Google it. You'll find it. It is a fun, crazy party show. So come out to that. And then if you want to see me the following week, wow, I didn't realize I'm going to be that quickly. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri at the Funny Bone. That is May 2nd through 5th. May 2nd through 5th, I'll be at St. Louis Funny Bone. And then I'm back in Las Vegas May 6th to 12th at the Las Vegas Comedy Cellar. That's in the Rio Hotel. Then May 19th, huge show. May 19th, huge show. 8 p.m. Comedy Store in Hollywood. Come out and see that. Tickets are not on sale yet. They will be soon. I will let you know. That's going to be a big show that will sell out. That's the Comedy Store right on Sunset Boulevard. And then I go back to Vegas again. Oh my God. I'm going to be at the Comedy Cellar in Vegas. And that is June 3rd through 8th. And then I'm going to be at the Atlanta Punchline June 13th to 15th. And then I'm going to New York City, all around New York, Philadelphia. I'm going to upload these dates. Philadelphia, where else? New Jersey, couple of shows in New Jersey, couple of shows in New York City, one show in Yonkers. And then July, I'll be in Dallas and Chicago. So you can check out all my dates at eddyift.com. That's eddyift.com. And come out and see me. And I got to get some merch going for you guys. I got to get merch and social media. It's I got a kid on the way, another kid. My wife is pregnant with a little boy in July. The baby's coming out, and I got to get all my business in order. I'm trying to do too many things all at once. You guys all know that. We're all trying to do that. Everybody. We're living in these times of how much can you accomplish before you die? And so I'm stuck in that situation myself. So go to our website. You can get yourself hooked up with Thrive Market. You can also get yourself hooked up with probably the best meat out there. Go to U.S. Wellness Beef or U.S. Wellness Meats. It's we've got click-throughs on the Wadcast podcast page. So click through, take care of yourself, get all your nutritional stuff that you need. And I'd also like to thank Myopucks for sponsoring the show. Myopucks and Leopard Claw. As I say each week, Myopucks is an electronic muscle stimulator that basically gets your muscles moving so that you cannot damage your tissues any further. But you still will get blood moving to the places in your body where you have kind of damaged tissue. It's great because it pumps the blood in, takes care of the inflammatory process, and then all the bad waste gets flushed out into your lymphatic system. So along with that comes a leopard claw, which is amazing. Use this leopard claw as I forget the name of what they call it, but it looks like a little metal. I don't know how to explain it, but you use it to scrape, take care of all that bad gooky stuff in your muscles, all these adhesions and blockages so that you can get the blood flowing to those areas. So you scrape it up, then throw on your Myopucks. They work great together. Go to myopucks.com or leopardclaw.com to order one yourself, or go to our Patreon, donate $5, and you yourself might get yourself one. Okay? That's right. If you donate $5 a month to our Patreon, you could get yourself one of these. So that way you support the show. And then all of a sudden, whoa, holy shit, look at this. I just got the best gift in the mail. It's worth about $450. And so I helped the show and I got myself something pretty cool that takes care of us. So right now, we give one to our guests. Hunter already has one, but Bobby, fuck Bobby. Bobby's not getting one. No, I'm just joking. Let's see. Who is our Patreon this week? Let's see. How about this one? Adrian Carey. Adrian Carey, you just won yourself a leopard claw and a Myopucks. Here's the thing. If you're one of the guys from, all you have to pay for is the shipping. They'll give you a code. You go order it because the shipping, Adrian, I see you're from Australia, and that's going to cost to get that there. But you just won a device that's worth about $450. So the $15 you can pay in shipping or whatever. No big deal, I hope. But let us know. So you are the winner, Adrian Carey. You'll be hearing from us very soon, and they'll tell you what you have to do to get a hold of your Leopard Claw Myopucks. If anyone else, you want one, just hook us up and donate $5 a month to the show, and you'll get yours. So thanks for listening. This episode, we talk about so many topics, from Hunter trying to be a wild card in the CrossFit Games, his beef with some CrossFitters. We talk about Bobby's stratosphere. We enjoy a steak and some other weird meats. And I don't know. We're all good friends, and it's nice to sit down and shoot the shit with these guys. They're both super elite athletes. I mean, two of the most fit guys I've ever met in my entire life. And you guys know, from doing the show, I meet the fittest people in the world. These two are freaks. So it's nice to sit down and get some knowledge from them and find out how crazy they both are. So I hope you enjoy the show. Hope you come out to see me live. And thanks for all your support. Enjoy. Welcome to the Wadcast Podcast. I'm the greatest person in the entire world. Eddie Ift. I'm here for you. I'm here. That's why I do this. It's all about you. And today, I thought I'd do something special for you. So I got two of your favorite guests of all time. We have Hunter, the not going to the CrossFit Games, Mcintyre.
You know what? Let's just take a pause. I asked you to help me out and maybe give me a little shout out. Person who's been on your podcast more than anybody else, comes to your daughter's birthday parties, goes to your family yoga event. I brought her a clown painting because I care. And I asked for Eddie's help to give me a shout out about the project that I'm doing. He didn't fucking do anything.
Yes, I did. It's up on the Wadcast Podcast Instagram page.
Since when?
Just go look at it right now. Go look.
I'm going to look.
I swear, and I wrote something very nice about you.
Before we get started, grab it.
What's that? Oh, the Elkhart?
Yeah, we'll start out.
Check this out.
This goes out.
So wait. Let me mention who our other guest is. That's Crazy Bobby.
Dude, there's blood all over your chair.
Oh,
that's right,
Bobby.
We'll clean it. Put it right in the middle of.
I don't want to.
Yes, put it in the middle. Put it in the middle.
It belongs there, so it's not on.
Watch this. Hold on. I got to time it so the blood's not coming out.
Oh,
I hit my phone.
So Bobby brought us an Elkhart. You were going to cook that?
No, we eat it raw. We got it from Joe Rogan. Thank you, Joe.
How'd you get it from Joe, though?
Joe shot the elk, and he was with a good friend of mine,
Dude,
old
these
roommate.
Dogs just going crazy over the blood.
They got to eat the blood. They got to eat the blood on the chair.
They're losing their shit.
So Joe shot the elk out in Montana with a good friend of mine, Brian Callen. I was his old roommate. And then Brian, of course, wouldn't eat the elk heart, so he gave it to me. And I brought it to dinner tonight because we were here eating steaks and sausage, and everybody eats meat. So I was like, "Hey, let's bring over the elk heart."
So are we going to eat it?
We should. You know what we should do is we should watch that Instagram called Real Nature. You guys ever seen that?
No.
It's just this like terror. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's like National Geographic's like worst scenes ever. Like 15 rabid dogs like eating like a small pig, or like a jaguar like just like ripping apart like a baby baboon. It's like weird stuff. We should watch that and then try to use the same tactics, like real teeth on it. We don't cut it up. You got to like bite into it.
Why don't we do it like Broken Skull Challenge? We throw it in the middle of a ring,
and we fight to the
and
death
we all have
over
to
it.
Fight. Bobby! Oh no!
Dude, that's
no!
so gross.
Oh no! Hunter, can you film him eating it? Oh jeez, the dogs are Oh, Bobby, I know I'm going to be like hosing down the whole deck. That is so gross.
Dude.
There is no way I'm eating any of that.
We're going deep.
Oh, God,
oh my God.
That's so gross.
We're going deep.
So let me describe an elk heart. An elk heart is about twice the size of Hunter's brain. Oh my God, that looks so fucking disgusting.
Oh, we're getting deep.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude, that is dense.
So Bobby, you have no problem eating that raw?
I'm going to give you a little sample.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Dude, it stinks like.
I'm not doing it. I refuse.
Little stinky wit.
No, I'm not doing it.
Oh. It's just like meat, and it tastes like roast beef.
No.
Oh, dude, look at that face.
Yeah, you don't look like you're happy.
You don't look like you're having a good time.
Come on. Had a little salt taste to it in the beginning.
Oh,
nope,
God.
not doing it.
Look, still got a little blood on the fingers. Then you come around, wash it down.
Dude, you didn't look like you enjoyed that.
Yeah,
at
I don't
all.
think you enjoyed it.
Dude, it was not bad. I thought it was.
Are you gonna have another bite?
On the outside, I had some skin.
Oh.
Get deep.
So.
Oh.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, here we go. Now that's a piece.
That is red like a beet.
Oh God, I'm disgusted. Can we just have a conversation? We'll come back around to it.
Yeah, let's not.
We'll play Russian roulette though.
I do want to tell you we call.
dogs and then we're good.
We call no, don't. My dogs are having enough problems. The one dog is fucking farting
I'm telling you, dude,
everywhere.
feed that to the one that's got the little head cold.
Harlow.
If my dogs die from this. All right. Well, we're sitting here eating. I want to talk to you about something that's changing my life, and that is Kettlebell Kitchen. Kettlebell Kitchen is a goal-based meal delivery service that believes in fueling the body with high-quality, nutrient-dense foods to help you perform at your best. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows these meal-based services. They come to your house, they bring you. You're not worried. You're not so sure about the ingredients involved. Well, these guys come from our kind of background. They're like us. They're part of the community, part of the crew. And if you're looking to lose weight, build muscle, or you just want to like crush it, and just PR, they're here to make it happen. Kettlebell Kitchen meals are obviously they're designed by nutritionists. They're prepared by chefs, and it's so convenient. They're going to be delivered right to you, so you can spend more time at the gym, less time in the kitchen, and it's. I see so many guys slacking in their nutrition, and you'd be surprised. In your head, you think you're going to save money by just eating crappy food. No, you're not saving money, especially not in the long run. So, get yourself over to Kettlebell. I almost just called it Kettle Bitchin'. Kettlebell Kitchen. Go over to kettlebellkitchen.com. Just check them out. I guarantee you're going to look at this food and you're going to go, just from the pictures, you're going to go, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. You're going to use the code WODCAST to get $25 off your first 2 orders of $50 or more. Okay? $25 off your first 2 orders of $50 or more. That's a pretty good deal just to try it. And like I've said, my favorite thing so far, the bison beef sliders. I love bison. I think it's amazing. Oh, and the paleo chicken nuggets, they're not just for children, because I said I've stole them from my daughter. It's check them out. You're gonna get a discount. Kettlebellkitchen.com. Kettlebellkitchen.com. I just want to go see what the meals are this week before I leave this, because it's just too good, and I'm like interested right now because my wife puts the orders in. My wife's out of town, and I'm like, why didn't I just put the order in? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in. They've got custom. I didn't even mention this. They've got the Whole30. So if you're doing the Whole30, you can do that. They've got custom keto meals, there's all different kinds of meal plans. There's so much to tell you about this. So basically, you're going to tell them what you're doing, like what you want, what your goal is. Are you a meat eater? Are you vegetarian? They've got flexitarian. They've got the keto. Everybody's doing the keto thing right now. You can do that, or you can go like pure paleo. And then they build the meal for you, and you can pick six meals a week, 12 meals a week, 18 meals a week. Obviously, the more meals you pick, the cheaper it gets. So, I don't know who's eating 18 meals a week, what kind of monster you are, but you get a giant discount. I'm sure you're some big fuckers. I'm on the go. I travel a lot, so I'm a little smaller, but you're going to love every meal you get. And I was just checking because I wanted to see, oh my God, looks so good this week. There's my bison beef sliders that I love. But hot honey glazed pork and chicken meatballs with Brussels sprouts. Oh, you can't beat this. Chicken carbonara over squash noodles. This is built for you guys. Go to Kettlebell Kitchen. Go to kettlebellkitchen.com right now. What I tell you, they're going to give you $25 off your first order? $25 off your first 2 orders of $50 or more. So do that. You got to put in WODCAST as the code. WODCAST, WODCAST. Put in WODCAST, and when you check out, and make sure you then let me know how much you like Kettlebell Kitchen. Hey guys, I was away in Montana this week. I was skiing. I was doing some exercise, and I was just walking around in the cold weather, and I was flying, and I like to pack light. So what did I bring with me? Hylete Do you know what High Elite is? High Elite builds premium athletic apparel, backpacks, and shoes with an emphasis on innovative designs at reasonable prices. You're not going to find High Elite in any of the stores. I met up with a couple other CrossFitters. Funny enough, when they showed up, one of them had on High Elite pants and another one had on a High Elite shirt. So this stuff obviously is getting pretty popular. And we had to talk about it. I said, yeah, these guys sponsor the show and I'm starting to love this stuff. I go, it's just like I'm wearing it everywhere. And they said the same exact thing. One guy also told me, because I've had these pants for like 4 or 5 years. I didn't even know High Elite was around that long, but they have been, and they are incredible. They've got a full line of men's clothing, 7 different styles of shorts. They've got a woman's line, which you know what's popular there, the tights. Go check out their most popular Nimbus tight collection. That's what sells off the internet. Get 20% off your next highlight.com order with the code WOD20. That's WOD20, WOD 20. And create a highlight.com account to apply the code. So you're going to create an account on highlight.com, and then that excludes clearance and pre-order, and receive an additional 20% off Highlight pricing on your first purchase at highlight.com. So check them out. Their stuff is amazing. It's I'll say it again, my favorite's the shirt. Their shoes are pretty cool. Their shoes are pretty cool because if you're one of these guys that takes with you 3 pairs of shoes to the gym, you don't have to anymore. You take 1 pair of shoes, and they have different insoles that can change the shoe depending on what you're doing. Check them out. Try them out. Long sleeve shirts. Oh my God, they're the best. Check them out, highlight.com, 20% off. Use the code WOD20. That's Highlight, HYLETE, HYLETE.com, highlight.com. Did I say it? Highlight.com. Back to the show. I always talk about how crazy Bobby is, but somehow all his crazy ideas sometimes work. I could not get out of my bed on Thursday. I had to leave for Montana. And I called Bobby, and I'm like, I called the guys that were bringing me to the gig. By the way, thanks Steve Rast and Troy Willis for having me out in Montana. The shows were great in the Rialto and Bozeman. But
I can see you struggling.
On the way there, Bobby's struggling.
What?
struggling
over there.
Eating that thing. Again, he's going for
30 years. Come on. Let me go bigger for you, boys.
He's going to eat a third bite.
He's got this kind of look on his face where it's just if you touched his belly button, he'd projectile vomit.
That's a big bite.
I got it. Do I look like I'm struggling?
God damn it, Jesus.
Roast beef, I'm telling you.
Okay, so you were saying he cured you.
So I called Bobby.
Syphilis.
And I called the guys. I said, look, I don't think I can make it to the gig. I'm going to be in my house for the next couple of days, just like quarantine with like this shitty cold. And I just felt like death. And Bobby goes, here's what you need to do. And he just started texting me photos. Go. And I was like, I was down near the airport because I had to drop my wife off and then go to my flight. He goes, go pick up this thing, and this thing. And I walk
flu shots, American Botanicals, Air One, right? What'd you get? What'd you end up with?
So I end up with the flu shot, or the cold shot, which is cayenne pepper. What else does it have in it?
Ginger, lemon.
And lemon. And it was like drinking Tabasco juice. And it the first one I had felt like it alleviated my whole cold.
It's pretty insane, isn't it?
I had the plague a couple years ago, and I never get sick.
Oh, when I came up with Marielle?
I called Bobby, and I was like, this is when Bobby and I first met each other, and he was giving me all this witch doctor type shit, and I was like, I don't want to go to a doctor. I was like, I'm gonna just call
You guys
Bobby.
have to have some heart.
I will. Just let me finish the story, and I'll eat a chunk.
I'll do it at the end of the show.
I will only eat a chunk because you saved me. So I'm in the kind of pain where I'm laying down, and like I had to lay on the floor because I was like my body was so on fire. I needed the cold surface of the floor, but I was covered in hoodies, everything.
The flu.
Yeah, I was dying.
He was sick.
And 104-degree fever, couldn't talk. And no one was there to help me out. Like, my roommate was out of town. Everybody was out of town. So I call he and Marielle up, and they brought all this crazy shit. They had to have done. You guys had to have spent like $200+ at Air One.
Blue shot, Echinacea, same stuff for you. And we brought them hot soup and garlic.
I shot like xylitol up my nose with
colloidal silver.
Colloidal.
Meanwhile,
Colloidal.
Have you ever seen the guy that turned blue from colloidal silver?
Really?
Oh yeah, Google Blue Man. They had him on like Oprah. The guy's skin turned as blue as your T-shirt. His whole body from doing.
Did he
too
take a
much
lot of it?
Yeah, from doing it like every day.
That's his own fault.
Google blue man colloidal silver. And so the guy's like, yeah, you're going to shoot this up your nose. And I was like, am I going to turn blue? And he goes, nah, I've seen that guy, though.
Dude, didn't you have me do like a nasal drip thing, too?
Yeah. Neti
God, it
pot.
was fucked up.
I had him neti potting.
Careful with the neti pot. Seriously, if anyone's out there going to do it, really, really be careful. Make sure you use distilled water and you also boil it because that's how people get that brain-eating amoeba.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So, somebody got at the surf, not Kelly Slater Surf Ranch, the other one down in Austin, Texas. Somebody got the brain-eating amoeba and died. And someone at the North Carolina Whitewater Park got it and died. So it's fucked up. Like, because when you like fall out and you fall surfing and you go like deep and water shoots all the way up your nose and then like later you'll be like having a conversation with someone and water just starts dripping out of your nose.
Yeah.
That water's all the way up in your brain.
You know what's really cool? I can lick my brain with my tongue. Watch this.
No, you can't.
I swear, I can stick my tongue up in my nasal cavity, up through that, like, where the little punching bag is? I can stick it back up in there, and I can lick inside my nose and, like, pick boogers with my tongue.
Watch. Oh, I thought you said your brain.
I can lick my brain. It's the stem of the brain down there. I'm telling you.
Bobby, get on the microphone and laugh.
I'm telling you.
Come on. I'm cutting up Buffalo Heart for the dogs.
Listen,
what do you got?
If we had,
Don't give the dogs any more.
If we had an elk heart.
She's going to be better tomorrow.
I'll pull it up on an anatomy chart right now. If you split the head in half, right at the base of your nose is sitting the base of your brain. So I'm basically looking at my brain.
You got to look that up. Look. You hear Harlow?
No, do not give the dogs any more elk
Look
heart.
at her. She's jumping.
No more elk heart.
Took 10 years off her. She looks great.
It's good. It's so good for them,
You think?
I know.
Don't you do
this like raw blood-rich steak? I'm sure it's way better than the shit that we're eating.
Bobby eats testicles all the time.
Had buffalo testicles 3 days
I think
ago.
anything you could eat almost anything off of a dead animal that's like recently killed, and it would be better for you than the stuff that we eat regularly.
Of course,
anyone that like promotes a carnivore diet, paleo diet, keto, anything, you'll hear them say like most important thing you eat is the organ meat, and no one eats it.
I do.
They talk about it.
I eat organs twice a month, right? Twice a month, and I've been doing it since 1997.
I heard the best way to do it is like take like a quarter pound of liver and just mix it into a pound of meat, a pound of ground meat.
I just eat it like the way I'm eating it here. You eat it like this.
Well, no, we're not all fucking men like
you. You would do it.
No, I wouldn't.
It doesn't taste bad. If I didn't tell you what this was and I said it was raw meat, you wouldn't know the difference.
I almost fell off.
That's how good it tastes.
I went for a run today.
We're both going to have a bite.
I almost fell off the trail when I saw a snake.
Yeah. I tried to capture one with my bare hands yesterday.
A rattle.
Yeah. You can catch them. The small ones, the bigger ones are faster. I know it's dangerous because they can bite you and blah, 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 but they're not as quick, and you can get a hold of them easily.
I heard this. I don't know if it's true. I heard that the rattlesnakes around here are adapting and losing their rattles. Have you heard that?
No.
Because the rattles, like what gives them, they used to use it to like protect themselves and, to warn people away. But more and more, they're being killed, so it's like they're...
That happens over thousands of years, not like, 6 months of living in Malibu.
I don't know, maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years?
No.
This one today, I wasn't sure if it was a rattle. It could have been a gopher snake. I don't know. Bobby, she's not eating any more heart.
This dog's losing her shit now that she... This is what happens. The dog's got bloodlust.
I know. Now this dog's going to want to fucking kill. This is why pit bulls, that you can never let them have blood.
Can I ask you a question? I feel like both of you guys would know about this. How is Malibu, after the fires, like none of the first responders got in any trouble for the terrible job that they did?
They got in a lot of trouble. There were
Bobby.
There were fights in the courtroom. There were fights. It got to
you won't talk about this because you're neighbors with a firefighter?
You can talk about it. I just don't want Harlow.
I was told almost fist fights. I was talking to Rory Kennedy's husband, and they were talking about how insane it was. There was a fire at somebody's house. And the firefighters were sitting in their trucks, and they said, "Hey, could you get the hoses out and put that fire out?" they said, sorry, it's not in our jurisdiction.
Right.
Or they would roll up the window and not do anything. Now, listen to this. In the 93 fires, there were 7,000 firefighters and soldiers deployed, 31 planes and helicopters, 18,000 acres burned. It was 70-plus mile-an-hour winds and higher in some places. They got it under control quick. This fire, 10 planes and helicopters and 2,500 firefighters. And the two of the planes they rented or leased from Canada. What kind of bullshit is that?
Well, there were a lot of
bullshit.
fires up at the Paradise Fire.
I understand that, but there were also a super tanker parked in Sacramento, puts out 80 football fields in one pass. It was under inspection. And this was a brush fire that came out of the valley that had to jump 10 lanes across the freeway to get to the park. They could have shut the freeway down and put the fire out before it jumped across.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. At the end of the day,
I
it's
just
bullshit.
don't get it. Like, I even heard a story yesterday that there was a lost family caravanning behind a fire truck, and the smoke was so bad. Fire trucks are designed to handle that extra smoke, like their carburetor or whatever the heck it is, can handle that extra pollution in the air. But a normal car will cut out because it's not getting the oxygen into the engine. And these people were trying to get help from the fire department. They followed up. They were going the wrong way. The fire truck just turned around, and they were trying to wave them down, flag them down. Shortly thereafter, the people got stuck in their car, and the dad got torched alive.
That died?
Yeah,
I think it was a couple
alive.
that died. I talked to a fireman who told me, a couple of them. One of them told me that there had been huge budget cuts prior to this.
So that's
budget
bullshit.
cuts has nothing to do with you fucking doing your job.
No, and then so what you have to know also, there are guys.
Well, the difference between 2,500 and 7,000 is a lot.
But when you talk about jurisdictions too, there are guys that are like, there are wildfires fighters, and then there's urban assault teams. So urban assault, like the one that's on the corner right here near my house, they're not here to protect our homes. They're to go fight these wildfires. They're not supposed to come in, but they do. They like come and check our homes and make sure. But their job during the fire is to put out the fire, not to save the homes. So there are urban assault teams that come in.
But it's kind of like it's a domino effect. If this house lights on fire, the likelihood that it's going to.
But if they're busy fighting this house, that fire's spreading to 1,000 more acres. So they need to stop it.
I didn't see shit.
In 93, the governor said they were going to park 12 planes in Palm Springs and or Van Nuys Airport, $12 million a year for a pilot to be available 24/7 and maintenance of the planes. $12 million a year of 12 Super Scoopers that could put anything out. Where are they? It's a joke. If we had 12 planes, think about when the fire starts. 12 planes go up to put the fire out. No fire could exist.
Bobby,
winds or not.
Well, that's the other thing. When those winds were up in the beginning, they were like 65-mile-an-hour winds. I talked to Scott, my friend that's a pilot over here. You could not fly in those winds.
100-plus mile-an-hour crosswinds, the Super Scooper will fly. 100-plus mile an hour. So you need one of those. They should just have an arsenal. It's for 40 million people here. It's the richest state in the United States. Have an arsenal of planes set up when there's a fire. We're spending how much? What's the damage? 5, 6, 7 billion? Come on. It's a joke.
Well,
if a fire happens, put it out.
I was just talking to my dad today, who's in the insurance business, and he was saying they found 60 to 80% of the homes are underinsured.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody's underinsured, but what if the insurance company said, hey, you got to have a roof sprinkler? You know, if you want us to insure you, you put a sprinkler on your roof that just waters down your house and you get a pump in your backyard.
But dude, not even that helped. Dude, the water shut down at my house halfway through the day.
You have to have a pump. So
pump.
So you fill up the water
and a generator
prior to it, and then you pump it with the generator.
Yep.
Whatever, you spend a couple $1,000s extra on that, but guess what? Your house doesn't burn down.
Yeah.
And the insurance company can give you a discount then because you have that.
And there's also stuff you can do with the eaves so stuff doesn't get up underneath.
We covered all these eaves.
Yeah, and that's what you do.
Sounds like hogwash.
No, just because you fucking got red. What was that stuff called?
Dude,
well, listen, in Ketchum Sun Valley, private firefighters for the wealthy.
They had them here.
Exactly. Well, Will Smith had a bunch of trucks come in and spray the paint all over his property.
Hunter got Foschek dumped on his head.
Yeah. We had no clue.
I went up to his house today, and I could not believe where the fire started and stopped and went around his house and went around the entire valley. It was amazing. His place looks great.
So one day I go over to his house, and he wanted me to see these waterfalls behind his house. And
that was the day that he wanted us to walk through them or whatever. Right?
You went
with him?
Yeah, I went with him.
Wasn't it really strong?
I'll show you the videos. He's an idiot.
They're freaking crazy.
So I go up there, and I'm not kidding, Bobby. Like, I go 4-wheel driving. That's right by his house.
This is us filming.
I see
this.
where it is. Yeah, I can tell exactly where it is.
So, but Hunter's showing himself getting drenched with Foschek.
Are you running? Yeah, stuff's everywhere. Dude,
Hey, by the way, Hunter,
you have that. Maybe that's why
under the car.
Maybe that's why you have water in your lungs, you idiot.
By the way,
breathing that stuff in.
My firefighter friend said if they dump that on you again, again, which they will, water or the Foschek, he said they teach the firemen to lay on the ground because it can fucking knock you out.
Well, dude, we didn't know. When it was coming down, it looked like powder. I'm like, this is so cool. It's powder in the air. It's going to save us.
How many hits you got on that? That's awesome.
My friend posted it. I got to get the video and post it up.
Oh, dude, that's like right on you. Dude, did you have pink all over you?
Oh, dude, we were drenched. I was like, wait a second, this isn't powder. Run!
I saw the thing go by, and then all of a sudden I see you running. There's pink everywhere.
My roommate was a genius. He got in the car right away, and I got soaked. Dude, you know, I've been sick on and off. I never get sick, like I said to you.
You think it has something to do with it?
Oh, yeah, dude. Like the smoke.
Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the overtraining you're doing right now?
No, dude. Like, it came right after the fire. I felt like $1 million.
It has something to do with it. I mean, it kills animals and all.
It's a fertilizer.
Yeah.
But no, I'm saying the Foschek, the smoke that I breathed into my lungs, like supposedly there's some kind of spore that's also released when this fire happens, and it's called like...
Yeah, it's bad. There's some dangerous shit.
From the poison oak and stuff?
There's some really dangerous shit in the air. We had a remediation company come in and clean our whole house to just make sure like all the smoke and everything is out. We have air filters now and water filters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was just... there's some fucked up shit. But... when the floods were happening,
you came up to my house and tried to get me.
I have the best video of him doing.
That's when I was crawling around because my foot was still really bad.
Hobbling.
Yeah,
I go.
It's like, we're gonna burn. You need to leave now. I'm like, I'm taking a shower.
I'm driving past his house because I thought avoid all the traffic on the PCH. So I put the dogs, Lauren, everybody. We take 2 cars. We leave. We're gonna go out Tuna Canyon, and then I go, Lauren, wait a minute. Bobby and Mariel, they got all those dogs and cats and birds and fucking animals, goats. You don't know what's at their house right now. There's probably a gorilla.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting hamstring cramp.
Sorry. You getting what?
I'm good.
And I'm like, we got to go.
Do you need some heart?
We got to go check on them. So I run up the hill to Bobby's house. I'm banging on the door. He answers the door in his underwear. And I go, where's Mariel? And he goes, she's down in Laguna. And I go, there's a fire ripping through the wood, like through the brush right now, coming this way. And he goes, really? I go, look out your fucking window. And he goes,
I can't believe how it smoked doors.
Oh, wow. And I go, get your dogs, get your cat. Let's get the fuck out of here. So Lauren's like, come on, let's go. And I'm like,
sweeping the horn.
I go, I got to go help Bobby. I go, here, you guys go out. He's on a broken fucking foot. I'll help him and get the shit out of here. So Lauren's like, well, take me down to show me how to get down Tuna Canyon. So I go down just like a quarter mile down Tuna Canyon to show her where to take where it splits.
Straight to PCH.
She goes, put the dogs in my car. So I take the dogs, put them in her car. And then I go to back up and turn around. She's like yelling at me. I hit a telephone pole and I swear to God, I see it teeter. And I'm like, oh no, I could have started like the other end of the fire
and pushed it that way,
where it would have just gone and like met the other fire.
You got a big dent in your car still?
Yeah, I fixed it.
Broke the tail light,
right? Yeah, I broke the tail light. So I come back up, and Bobby is taking a shower. He's putting all his supplements in a bag.
Can't leave out the supplements.
You know when you take all your important things out during a fire? Bobby's most important thing were supplements, and then that thing that you lie on. What is that?
The mat?
Oh, yeah.
What is the beamer?
The beamer that I was trying to get you by for $6,000.
What is it?
Explain a beamer.
He told me that I should get this circulatory mat, and I was like, all right, I'm into it. I was like, how much? It's like $6,000. I was like, I changed my mind. Well, you guys get all these things sent for free.
That's right, like, Marielle Hemingway, right?
Yeah.
That works really well for me, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of BS.
Wait, Bobby, what is the mat? Explain what it is.
It's a beamer mat.
I don't know what a beamer mat is.
Electromagnetic field.
Okay.
It opens up microcirculation in the body. 100%. Scientifically proven.
Helps you get a sick chub.
Okay, so they took 7 cycle teams, 5 guys on a team, had them run across the country. They kept switching out cyclists, right? They're all in vans.
Like Race Across America.
Right. The Beamer mat guys, you want me to wait until that passes?
No, it's fine.
That's cool. The Beamer mat guys won by 24 hours. They were all accused of blood doping, and they weren't. Every time they go off the bike, they lay down the entire time on the Beamer mat to recover.
And what does it do?
It increases your circulation. So think about your main arteries and stuff when they check your pulse. That's something like 26% of the main, blood flow in those big arteries. Well, the other 74% are microcapillaries. Think about your all over your back and your shoulders and all these places, right? Well, you lay on that mat and it opens those up and it increases circulation, so you have more energy and you have more blood flow.
I was just talking to a company that wants to do that to my dick.
You've been talking about that.
They want to sponsor the show, and
they want to sponsor your penis.
Yeah, and basically I'd have to do it, and they were like,
Would you have to get really in depth about the results?
Well, I told them, I said my dick works, and they were like,
would they bring your wife on the podcast?
They basically send radio waves or something through your dick. I don't know. I haven't gone and met with them or anything yet, but it's like initial talks of them sponsoring the show.
They just assume that everybody listening to the show has impotence.
I guess so. They're CrossFitters.
Well, isn't it something like 40% of the population of men struggle with that?
I haven't had
pretty
high,
isn't it? I've never had a boner problem. I think someone at this table has.
That's all right, Bobby. Let's talk.
Yeah, Bobby, we can talk about it.
Dude, I'm a fucking horse. I always have been. Racehorse. Boom. I'm out of the gate fast. I fucking ride hard. I go bareback.
So they were like, I was on the phone call with them, and they were telling me, they're like, yeah. I go, look, I don't
radio waves to my dick.
On the phone call, I go to them. I go, look, I don't have any of those problems. I go, I have a boner right now while I'm talking to you. And they go, well, it'll enhance sex for you. It's going to make it even better. And I was like, it's pretty good now. I'm pretty happy when I'm there. I'm like, this feels great. I can't imagine it being enhanced. But
we should go talk to Ben Greenfield. I'd love to see his penis. He's gone on and had so many stem cell injections and all different kind of therapy on his penis, and I'm assuming it's either a
was he having problems, or he just wants to have
no, I think he just wanted to do the research. He's a pretty intelligent guy. He doesn't I don't think you'd be honest if he was like, hey, listen,
where are the stem cells coming from? That's a really important thing.
He goes down to listen, I'm not trying to speak for him, but I just know that he would go down to these therapy centers down in Florida where it was much more legal to do this kind of work.
He's making a big mistake. I have 2 stem cell docs working with me at Stratosphere, and they're really super high end, and you cannot take placenta stem cells and all the nonsense that's out there. I heard him talking the other day. I didn't understand half the stuff they're saying.
Platelet therapy too. There's just a ton of things
PRP.
they're doing.
Yeah, I got a couple guys that have labs here in Orange County and LA, and they're working with Stratosphere and the Mayo Clinic and all this stuff. It's pretty high end stuff. But shooting it into your dick?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff that they're doing now with the peen. What? Being honest.
It's not like old school where Stallone just got the thing sliced open. He stuck a pump in there to get the thing back up.
Is that true?
Did he have a pump?
Oh, yeah. He's got a pump.
I've heard about the pump with a lot of guys.
Too many steroids. He went impotent.
And you put a pump in there.
Yeah, and you just pump it up.
You basically have
it's
two things on your dick.
2 things on each side of the shaft. You press.
There's no fucking way.
Swear to God.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of actual non-invasive procedure that you can do.
Dude, it's called Chinese herbs. There's so many things that you could do that are fine. What do you got?
Mosquito I was, when you went down to Rainbow Acres and I started getting all this echinacea and everything I was taking, I also remember this comedian I know who was into Chinese herbs and just took too many and fucking died once.
Yeah, well, you can't take... Dude, water can kill you if you drink too much of it,
That's
right?
true.
I never thought acupuncture therapy was any good, but I went to a specialist here in California, and he hit me in 21 spots with needles. I was telling Bobby this earlier, and I laid there. I was so exhausted. I was overtrained, my whole body felt like shit. And then he gave me some of these Chinese herbs pills. I sat there for 20 minutes with the needles, and I felt like my body was on fire. I just started warming up really seriously. And the one that was most painful was down on the left side of my left calf. And then I got on Chinese herbs, and a week later, I was pumped.
Well, it's funny. The cold shot that he told me to go get, he's like, go get 6 of them. It was funny. Bobby goes, get this, 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 and this. I go to checkout, and the woman's like, that's going to be $230.
Yeah.
Yeah, those cold and flu shots are $96 for the box.
So I get it.
Those things tasted so bad.
Yeah, but they're good.
But listen, I read a lot of Chris Kresser, and Chris does his research, tons and tons of research. And one time I remember saying, basically the only thing that'll battle a cold. The only thing, like you can suppress a cough with like herbal tea and honey, but he said the only thing that will like put off a cold or, like
ginger.
He said if you juice ginger, add cayenne pepper, add lemon juice, and add Manuka honey, and
that's almost what's in
enough.
there.
That's what it was.
In there,
Is juicing stuff good for you?
Juicing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you still want the fiber, but the juice is fantastic.
I almost never eat vegetables.
That's terrible.
It'll get you when you hit around 36, 37, it starts coming in.
Really?
Yeah. You already look shittier than I saw you last time.
Eat a dick. You are a sack of shit.
Hunter's looking good.
Dude, you sack of shit.
Hunter's looking good.
It's the first time I've ever seen you take your shirt off.
All I know,
it didn't look like a beat-up, tattered piece of
ripped to shreds
Play-Doh.
right now, aren't I?
All I know is I want to see... dude, you better set some records, if you're going for this thing at CrossFit. I want to see you crush people. Dude, like, this guy doesn't do drugs, and look at him crush everybody.
He does drugs. He does... pot,
mushrooms,
cocaine, mushrooms, heroin.
I haven't
crack.
done any of that stuff in a really long time. I have a disadvantage. I probably have a bunch of like blown out blood vessels and things like that.
I just read a really scary thing. I looked it up because somebody was telling me about cocaine and people don't realize this. You damage your heart with cocaine. Like later on in your life, you are so much more susceptible to heart attack from doing cocaine.
After watching that new Motley Crue movie, I don't think so. Those guys fucking ripped it to shreds. Honestly, whenever I see stuff like that,
Motley Crue
I'm like,
movie?
I fucked up bad.
Well, you look at like what's his name from
it's so good. Go on Netflix and watch
what's his name from the Rolling Stones?
Keith Richards?
Yeah, I mean
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards did every drug.
Just smash his cigarettes.
Same with I just did a show a few years ago with Mick Fleetwood. And they said Mick Fleetwood did enough cocaine that if you lined it up, it would go like here to the moon. And he doesn't have like the inside of his nose anymore. And the guy was just jamming on stage, and he's an old dude. And I'm like, how's he alive?
I think honestly, if you stay away from heroin, you're pretty much set. Like, your body will just handle it.
Well,
I've never heard of anybody dying from.
But when the people die on heroin and stuff, it's usually because they get bad heroin.
Heroin, or they stop and then start again.
Stop and start, or they do a combination of the two. Like
Speedball.
Guys that I've known that have died, it's the combination.
Should just stick to cocaine, meth.
And a lot of people with the cocaine now, there's fentanyl in it.
Yeah, it sucks.
And so it's become really, really dangerous. Really fucking dangerous. But I don't think CrossFitters as much as guys that bodybuild are like, they'll put any fucking drug in their body.
Yeah.
Like you find guys that are usually like bodybuilders, like the kind that like tan up and like do contests and
steroids.
Yeah, they do tons of steroids and they're
HGH, all kinds of stuff.
But they're not afraid to do like cocaine or anything else all the time.
But
also,
interestingly enough, they're all pretty gosh darn healthy. Like I think about if you watch like the CrossFit industry or like things that are just like extremely aggressive on your joints. These people are blowing out so fast. Look at Bobby. Bobby's like shredded to the bone. And what are you, 56 now?
Yep,
56. And he just does things like power lifts, some basic bodybuilding, and he does rugged shit outside. But if he had started doing CrossFit at like my age, at the rate that I'm doing it, not saying like, if you're an average gym goer, you're set.
I'd probably be hurt.
Yeah.
I'm talking to guys in my age range to Bobby's age range now, and almost all of them do some sort of CrossFit that is bodybuilding with running or biking or like they'll do the assault bike or they'll do, but they're not throwing or they're not like touch and goes. They're not sitting there doing touch and go clean and jerks or snatches. I'm sure there are guys out there and they're games athletes, but for the most part, healthy people are doing a more bodybuilding oriented workout.
Yeah, I see a lot of people switching to it
with metabolic, like some kind of cardio involved with it.
Yeah, I mix it up. I hike, bike, run, climb. I do a lot of climbing. I lift weights heavy 3 days a week, pretty much every week. And I do body stuff.
Do you do like
squats? So
put
before
like
I hurt
700 pounds on your back.
Yeah, before I hurt my ankle, I was a little over 6. I usually get up to around 7
with your
doing
deadlift.
Quarter squats
with your squat.
I could full squat like a little over 400, like say 405.
But you don't need to do that, dude.
Wait,
but I don't.
What were you doing 600?
I do quarter squats with it just to feel the weight.
Pins in the racks.
Jesus Christ.
And then I do
Release a lot of
I do pull-ups
testosterone.
with 140 pounds. I get a couple reps, and then I have to do negatives. I do dips with like, let's see, it's 4 plates is 180, and then one more 225, and I get a couple of reps out of that. But then I drop to do a couple of negatives. I just throw heavy weight. Bench press. I wrap my wrists. I lift it off. I have almost 500 pounds on there. And I just hold it and go down like maybe an 8th rep, but it lights my whole chest up, and I rock it, and I'm done. But I did 135, 225, 315, and then after 315, I'm wrapping my wrists and just doing little light reps.
So you try to PR, like you try to get your.
It's like I overload, but I don't overload and hurt myself. I don't overload. I don't do a 600-pound squat, go down, and have my back do this, and be like, oh. I just do this little thing, and then I hang from the chin-up bar for 30 seconds, and I feel amazing. Like my testosterone levels go way up, and I'm not hurting anything. I'm not doing anything where, like you said, bringing the bar down is where everybody gets hurt. That's why they're dropping it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't do anything where I'm going to get hurt, but I put the enormous amount of weight there, and then I do body work. Like meaning push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. I swing around. I have parallel bars and a high bar. I do muscle-ups, When I'm tired, I do muscle-ups with straps on my feet, so it's really easy to just up, climbing ropes, climbing ladders, fun stuff, surfing in Eddie's backyard when the river's full.
No one can see this anymore, so I'm taking the Mevo off.
Nice.
You need to see. I posted this guy.
Sorry.
Did the dog just fart, or was that you?
Oh, it's just something with this chair.
I posted a guy the other day doing a muscle up on the Wadcast page. This is just fun.
Muscle up on the
One ring?
on the bar.
Talking about Kevin?
No, that was not Kevin. There was another one before the Kevin one
On the bar or on rings?
on the bar, but it's in another world. It's like,
It's badass.
yeah, it's I don't know how a human being's doing this. It looks like it's fake.
He looks like he's floating up.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Practice.
I think he just has such good gymnastic technique.
Yeah, and practice.
Look, watch this.
Wow. Show Hunter.
No freaking way. I bet you that guy weighs like 30 pounds.
It doesn't matter. Still,
Yeah, he's all up
You
a
sure
body.
it's not
He's a
fast
gymnast.
forward?
He's a gymnast.
I think that's fast forward.
it doesn't matter.
You think it's going in reverse,
he's
right?
getting that's what I'm worried. I'm wondering if it is in reverse.
Dude, wait, I gotta introduce you to this kid, Mookie. So I did this show, $1 Million Mile, like a couple months back. This kid's the
Really cool.
number one parkour athlete in the world.
Uh-huh.
He'll flip 3 times off this thing right here.
Talk in the mic.
It's insane. It's absolutely absurd.
What's his name?
Mookie? His name's Eric Mukamechkin, but like
I
when
might
first
follow
met
him on Instagram.
his name's Eric Run. It's freaking crazy the stuff he does. It seems like he's in the Matrix.
So it's like Ito.
But he can-
it's like Ito Portel.
But he can do
Ito.
the same
I love
thing in
that
the
body
rings.
stuff.
There's-
That body stuff's badass.
There's guys, Bobby, that like Ito does really good stuff on the ground.
Yeah.
What he's talking about, these guys are
the parkour.
the parkour guys are nuts.
Yeah.
They're out of this world. Like they'll do like 3 flips off a building.
I know,
Like,
jumping
He
from
does.
buildings.
He did triple backflip off of the tallest part of the Santa Monica rings. You know what I'm talking about? That big structure. Get up there and just 3 backflips.
So I
into the
have
ceiling.
watched his. Is he Swedish or something?
No, he's the dude's. He's from Ukraine.
Talk into the mic.
He's from the Ukraine. He's a total savage.
Yeah, they're
He's like a destroyer of worlds. He looks like Drago with
That's
dark hair.
funny.
yeah. I've seen this guy.
Yeah, the body stuff is great. Like you always said, Eddie, it's really great. You're really good at working out. But what do you do with it?
Yeah,
Like you're big into you like surf. You do stuff. You go running. Like guys can't even run. Or they don't surf. They don't climb. They don't do jiu-jitsu, martial art, a sport, downhill skiing, biking. It's just their sport is training. And you and I talked about this, saying, well, we train so we're better at the things that we love doing.
I was running up the mountain today, and I was thinking to myself, I wish I did more squats. I'm like,
You wish what?
I wish I was getting sore, and I was like, I wish I had done more squats.
I wish you weren't such an epic pussy and you would just run the trail by now. You've been
I'm
talking
not-
about it for 3 years.
I'm not close to it. I look.
You just have to
You
do
gotta
it.
train
So
for it.
check this out.
I need to get up to at least 25 miles.
My buddy.
Yeah, you got to
Jesse
train.
is a-
You train in different parts. Do different parts of it.
I'm going to.
Get ready for it and do it.
My buddy Eddie.
I told Eddie. I told Hunter. I'm sorry to cut you off. I told Hunter I want to do it barefoot.
Which is just
go.
retarded.
Well,
I'm going to do it.
I saw 2 snakes today, so I wouldn't want to step on them barefoot.
My buddy Jesse is a school teacher, and he used to be with me on the wrestling team. He used to be in great shape back in the day, but now he does like bodybuilding splits and does like we'll go for like a 3-mile jog twice a week. I called him 3 years ago and I said, "Listen, you're going to come out and visit me for your spring break, and I'm going to take you on an adventure." We were going to split the day. We were either going to bike across Catalina, and then last minute I was like, that's just too much too much logistics. So I just got him a hydration pack. We went down to the thing, and I forced him to run it with me over 2 days. He was not in any shape at all.
And he did it.
He did the whole fucking thing. He cried the entire second day. So funny.
Dude, he must have been so sore for how long?
Hunter,
Dude, you damaged him.
Please,
he's got
call a ranger. Call a ranger. I mean, he's someone to pick me up. I was like, dude, nobody's going to come out here in the middle of fucking nowhere and pick your ass up because you're tired.
His body's damaged.
Wow.
His body's not damaged. He's fine. He still wrestles all the time.
How old is he?
29.
Nah, maybe not.
Dude, I see these 85-year-old people doing Ironmans. You're telling me you can't just suck it
They
up and
train
walk?
for it.
Just walk. It's walking.
You could walk it.
Oh, well,
Brian McKenzie has him doing special nasal breathing.
No,
that's
because of the wave I'm doing.
I've been doing a nasal breathing for a long time.
That doesn't help you run across the mountain range.
That's for my fucking big wave hold down that I'm going to get fucking
nasal breathing and training is cool. Like, okay, in the stratosphere, you're at 12,000 feet and you're on a bicycle and you nasal breathe. And
can you explain to everyone what the stratosphere is?
Oh yeah, stratosphere. Everybody's gonna hear about this. Everybody's gonna see this. It'll be nationwide and worldwide over the next 3 to 5 years. My goal is to get it in everybody's home. Stratosphere is a hypobaric with lighting, sound, vibration, and magnets mixed in. I could take you to Everest in 15 seconds. As of right now, that's what we're doing. We just got a naval contract, and basically you're doing pressure changes, and the pressure changes happen based on frequencies of your organs. I have the head of the Extreme Human Performance Lab, Dr. Bruce Johnson, doing the algorithms for this. And we have patents all over the world, and we just got those, by the way. Really cool. I look at my patent book today. I was like,
that's pretty rock and roll. I'd keep that in your back pocket at all times. You could drop it down on the table.
Oh, dude, it's so badass. So anyway, the pressure change is expanding and contracting every cell in your body simultaneously. When you go up, everything expands. When you go down, everything contracts. You create these algorithms while training. I made the machine big enough where you can. We have the patent for the exercise in pressure changes. So treadmill, bicycle, VersaClimber, any kind of piece of equipment in there to work out in, short spurts and fast pressure changes. And what this does is it turns on progenitor cells, which produce red blood cells, and of course, your body produces stem cells without having to get injections. So you're going to regenerate tissue. It also wakes up dormant parts of the brain. There's so many things that we want to do, TBI studies and all this stuff for NFL players, past and present. And it's going to be badass, man. Hunter and I are talking about getting one here this year and getting ourselves a gym.
We're going to have a boot chamber. All right?
I'm never going in. I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah, but you can get out.
Fuck your nasal breathing. Look at that.
Ready?
What is that?
That's my latest breath hold.
I can do that.
3.5 minutes.
Yeah, because I'm not a pussy.
You can do 3.5 minutes.
Do you guys want to do that?
What,
Losers got to eat.
For breath
you
hold?
and I will hold our breath.
My breath's 4. And my record's 4:31.
We will both hold our breath. Losers got to eat a huge chunk of that.
Dude, the heart's in the dark now. Look at it.
But we've got to prove that someone's. My goal with that elk heart is to throw it over the back deck and watch the coyotes feast.
You're going to have some kind of savage cougar come back here.
Harlow's still looking at me. Harlow's under the table wagging her tail looking at me.
No, the reason I've been doing the nasal breathing is I agreed to I was with the editor of Surfer Magazine and Albie Lair, who's one of the best big wave surfers in the world. Well, I'm not going to call him that because I don't want to give him a big head. He reminds me a lot of you. He's an idiot, but I love Albie. And Albie is...
Between him and his daughter, I get past.
He loves you, Honor.
Albie is... he was making fun of me for my surfing abilities, and I said something like... I don't know how it happened. Something about man's greatest fear is speaking in public. So, what I do is scarier than what he does. And I said, if you do what I do, I'll do what you do. So he's going to do 5 minutes of stand-up comedy, and I have to go surf a big wave. And they're going to take me to Toto Santos.
How big?
They said Probably 15-foot wave, so that's 30-foot face.
30 feet?
30-foot face.
But is it like a Teopu type wave, or is it like a Jaws it's wall?
Jaws and Chopu are both the same. They're both a barreling wave. This is going to be a crumbler. And,
Crumbler's fun.
And I get to get towed in. So I'm going to tow in, and I get an inflatable vest. And it's basically like I'm getting chased by an avalanche. And I just have to get to the channel and get away from it.
Do some neck bridging. Get that neck strong.
Oh, really? I have such weak,
dude,
wrists and
think
neck.
about it.
You ever seen Bobby wear a skull cap with 50 pounds of tech?
Yep.
What are you doing? Just getting some sets in, baby.
Keeping the neck strong.
You ever seen such a tight looking neck like this?
It's the one thing in CrossFit no one ever does. Neck work.
Dude, you know what hurts my neck all the time?
What?
Jerks. If you do jerks really freaking heavy and stick your head through aggressively, when I'm done with a jerk workout, dude, I am
talk into the microphone.
My neck's lit up. I feel like I'm going to have spinal surgery for sure.
So give us
technique.
So let's go to Hunter and what he's trying to do.
Yeah. Let's talk about the big man.
Go.
Hunter is making an attempt at getting into the CrossFit Games without using any kind of without qualifying in any sense of the word.
That's the part of the wild card. Quit being a dick.
Look, I saw Fikowski came after you.
Yeah, go for it. I would literally pay for the flight, and I'll give him a $10,000 check if he shows up and even comes top 20 in our fucking sport at OCR at Spartan Race World Championships. The dude's gonna fucking blow up, cry, piss his pants, text his girlfriend halfway through, and regret his fucking life. I at least have the balls to go show up and try
cross
something,
over into something
and
different.
do something. All right, I don't give a fuck about people coming after.
Well, how about that boxing match you had last year?
Beat the shit out of that fucker.
They're like, hey, you're an OCR racer. You want to box this guy? He goes up there and beats this guy up and felt bad. He had to pull back on him.
Who'd you beat up?
Just some guy in Alaska. This dude tells me he's been doing UFC training for 2.5 years. He's 25 pounds heavier than me. And I was like, I run mud runs. They're like, all right, you two matched up. So I just go in there and knocked him out in 30 seconds. All I did, I don't know how to box. I've done bar fights, and I watched just YouTube videos of Mike Tyson for 20 minutes beforehand. And I was just jabbing him in the face. Dude, it was great.
Look, I think what you're doing is admirable. Fikowski made a point. He said, if you want to get in, why don't you qualify like everyone else?
Because I'm not prepared. This is not my sport. Brett Fikowski did this thing for 5 years before he even made it through regionals. I'm just trying to do an accelerated year to pick up an opportunity that they created. They did create the opportunity. Nobody knows what it's really for or how they're doing it or how they're giving them out. Some people say it's for athletes that usually qualify, that didn't qualify, or somebody who had a bad break. Something like what happened to Jacob Hepner.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Explain how they give.
Basically, they changed. They fired half the company. They changed up all the rules. They de-emphasized what was originally it was called the Open was the first part. You did the Open to qualify for regionals. Regionals were across the globe and were regionalized. So there's the West, which was all of California and Western Canada, the North Pacific. Then there's the Southeast. Then there's Asia. Then there's part of Europe. There's so many different regions. You qualify through the Open to get to your regional event, and then you have to come top 5 or 3 from there to go to the games.
Keep explaining.
So they had a very straightforward understanding of how to qualify. Just like going to a wrestling tournament. Completely. So imagine if you were a wrestler and you had to go to your local sectionals, then all of a sudden you had to go to states, then you go to New England's, and then all of a sudden from there you get to go to nationals. It's pretty simple. It's a straightforward thing. Then all of a sudden next year they changed everything. Now all of a sudden it's kind of just like an open bid opportunity. You have to try to qualify through these things called sanctional events, which you have to go through an online qualification process, do workouts, videotape yourself, send it in. You have to be top 25 in the world for that event, then go there and then win that event. So
that's the only way in?
That's the only way in, or you have to come top 20 in the Open, which is very, very, very challenging unless people aren't just showing up and coming top 20. These are guys who have, a decade of experience, half a decade of experience. So
how are you getting in?
This is what's happened. They've introduced what's called the wild card. Just this year, they created 4 spots for males and females from other sports to come in and see if they can contend. The owner of CrossFit.
And what do you got to do? Top 5? What?
Well, no, dude. They just invite you in.
Yeah, I know, but you get invited in, and then you have to win. What do you have to play?
I'm just going to go in and fight like a dog.
Okay.
I mean, here's the reality. CrossFit Games has, anywhere from 3 to 5 events every single year that are completely endurance-based. Like run, then swim, and then get on a paddleboard. Or it's like just bike. Last year they had a marathon row last year. They had an obstacle course race last year that was 1.5 miles long. These are all things that if you imagine, I'm not going to argue if you and I went into a workout and it was like bench press 1 rep max or back squat 1 rep max, you're going to beat me. But then all of a sudden the next workout's like run 3 miles up this hill. Who's going to win? I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Okay, then all of a sudden there's a pull-up event. You're going to win. Then all of a sudden there's a, row 2,000 meters for time and do 50 pull-ups.
Yeah.
I'll win. And then all of a sudden it just kind of goes back and forth.
So that's what they're going to do. You don't know what they're going to do in this wild card thing?
No clue.
You just got to show up?
Right now, I'm campaigning for it. I mean, listen,
he's trying to get everybody. The hashtag is #GetHunter to the games.
Yeah.
So,
well, how do you get an invite to the wild card?
Nobody
dude, that's
knows.
the thing. Nobody freaking knows. So instead of just sitting there and twiddling my thumbs and hoping that I get a phone call, FitAid, the company that's been working with me for years, has offered to sponsor this journey where I'm traveling around doing this docuseries, working with the best CrossFitters in the world, training with them, learning their skill sets.
Got it.
And getting in. I mean, we're getting tons.
Now, I think the original premise behind this wild card was, for example, there's a guy named Jacob Hepner that Hunter is friends with that is a really good CrossFitter, top CrossFitter, who one of the workouts in the Open last year, it was a very weird thing where they set the standards for your handstand push-up. So he was doing very well, and there was five weeks. You have to do it every week, a different event. One of the events was a handstand push-up was in it. And they said, measure the point from, I believe, from your wrist to your elbow, to the inside of your elbow, and then put that above, like stand with your head against the wall, and go that distance from your wrist to your elbow is where your feet then have to hit. Your feet have to hit that every time for it to be a rep, a quality rep.
Got it.
Well, because he had like really long arms and really short legs or something was like anatomically strange about him. He couldn't reach it. So he got like last. He couldn't get any of the handstand push-ups. He ends up last in the event, which then disqualifies him for the games. So that's the type of person that gets a wild card in. Like that's a guy because of some kind of weird, fluke. He doesn't make it.
But it's open to interpretation, so I'm taking advantage. I'm taking advantage of it. Listen, I don't give a shit. Like if people don't like me because I want to go do this, like I still have a great life. Like I'm not going to sit there and be like, I didn't get enough likes on this Instagram post. This is terrible. Like you don't have to be my friend.
Okay, so you've gone to a couple. You just went to a qualifier though.
No, I didn't.
The Granite Games wasn't a qualifier.
No. Granite Games is like a month from now, month and a half.
What's the one you just did?
I didn't do anything.
Oh, I thought you just.
I just did
one.
like a rub and tug festival in like Colorado. It was just like it was just a random like
rub and tug.
How'd you do?
We crushed everybody. It was fun.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got in a fight with a woman in the middle of the workout. just like these local yokels who love to do CrossFit. They're like, I don't like the way you do snatches with that dumbbell, asshole. I'm like, shut your mouth. Like,
Why? What didn't she like about your snatches?
Okay, so I'm still new to this thing and like the range of motion. Like I was locking out here.
Right.
And I needed to be here.
Right.
And I'm moving as fast as I can. The difference in 2 inches of the angle of your arm can be a no rep. So all of a sudden I just start looking at this guy in the face and make sure he says rep every single time. Right. Every single time. I just don't stop looking at him. And she accused me, and then all of a sudden I have to go on to the rower.
She accused you of what?
Being a jerk. She's like, you don't have to be such a jerk. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I see what you're doing there, being a jerk. And I'm like, woman, I'm working out, and you're just sitting down. I'm like, leave me alone. And I'm literally rowing like a 130 pace on the rower right now. And then she's like, I don't care about you, princess. I'm like, obviously you do. I'm like, you're talking to me right now. I was like, take a picture. You got your phone out. And the judges had to come over and separate us. I'm like, this is crazy.
I have to change the subject for a second because you just reminded me of something and I'll forget it. Last night I was in the office at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach. And I was talking about the character of stand-up comedians, which I don't blame them. I like comedians to talk to because they're intellectually very stimulating. They do a lot of analytical thought and quality thinking, and you can get in really good conversations with comedians. But as far as their character goes, they're pretty weak individuals for the most part of my own kind. And I'm not. My dad used to have a phrase where he said, "Would you want that guy in a foxhole with you?" He always used to say it. "Would you want that guy in a foxhole?" I wouldn't want that guy in a foxhole with me. So I'm saying that about comedians. I go, 99% of comedians I wouldn't want in a foxhole with me. I just wouldn't.
They're deranged people.
They're deranged, but not only that, they're just trying to get to the top, and they fucking sell you out and switch uniforms and stab you in the back. And I told Brad Garrett the other day, he's a really good guy. I said, hey, I told him that. I said, my dad used to have this.
Everybody loves Raymond, Brad Garrett?
Yeah, and I said, I'd want you in a foxhole with me. I go, but just because I'd want to use you as a human shield. He's such a big dude. But I was saying
he's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
And so I was saying that about there's a small amount of people, blah, 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 and just that comedians lack character and integrity and stuff like that and loyalty. And this girl was sitting there the whole time listening to me. And as I was leaving, she looks at me and she goes, I wouldn't want you in a foxhole with me.
That's how I felt.
And she just looked at me like, you're a horrible human. And I was like, oh my God. And, she was just like the girl selling tickets at the club. And I was like, what did I fucking say that sent you that way? And I was like,
Did you find out what it was?
I tried to. I was driving home. I was angry the whole time. I was like, fuck that girl. I was so angry.
She got to you. She got to you.
She got me. She was like,
maybe somebody set you up. Maybe she didn't even. She just said that because somebody told her.
I would have slipped her a
it.
5 and just been like, tear him a
Yeah,
new
see,
one.
could have been Hunter with the clown painting.
Should we give that to the Coyotes?
If I were you, I'd save a bunch of it and give it to the dog, and I'm going to take some home for myself. I'm definitely eating more heart.
Oh, Christ.
I used to eat the turkey giblets, like the heart. And
not even come close to that.
Yeah.
That is just
as Cuba Gooding Jr. said in Jerry Maguire, I'm all heart, motherfucker. Do it. You're both going to eat it. You're both going to eat heart.
All right, so I don't want to get into it, but I'm going to. This week I watched Free Solo and Maru. It's called Maru. And it's funny when you watch the dedication of those guys and how my problem with, I love CrossFit, but I also don't like the elitism in CrossFit where they do feel like we are the best in the world because we are the fittest across all domains and how much they commit their life to it and they work so hard. I watched and I just thought that one guy had a stroke while they were on the mountain.
Really?
And kept going.
Yeah.
He has a stroke.
Is that the one who got to hit his head really hard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later. So he's a stroke.
So you know who the fittest guy in the world is and was or
Uli Stick or Uli Stick?
No, not
I might
now.
say Ross Edgley.
No, not now.
Ross Edgley's not in good shape. He just sat in the water for a bunch of days and kind of took the current.
He's done some freakish shit.
He's pretty
Jim
intense.
Thorpe, you guys. Jim Thorpe, hands down.
Dude, that Native American football player, lacrosse player,
baseball player,
track and field
does
stud.
the pentathlon, right? Does the pentathlon and does the decathlon. When he goes to qualify for the javelin, when he goes to Norway, he'd never thrown a javelin. You know what he did? He walked up to the line and he stood there and threw it and took a second in the world. He didn't know that you could run and throw it. He took first place. His records, ready for this? In 1912, when he went to the Olympics, his 1,500 meter wasn't beat until 1968.
Really?
Yeah. It's insane. I looked at this stuff the other day. You cannot believe what this guy did. Now, you ready for this? As a kid, he'd run down horses for 24 hours for his dad. He would mimic. He looked at the horses and watched what they did and learned how to run by them. For real. You got to hear the stuff about this guy. And humble as the day is long.
How did he get so strong?
Because he did this since he was a child. He was chasing horses since he was a kid.
But you can't chuck a javelin that hard and run like that fast.
All he did was train and run in the woods, and he looked at people, and he would find something great about Eddie. He would mimic that. Eddie's got the best of something. He would take that. He'd take the same thing from you. And
how's he going to take my dick?
Huh?
How's he going to take my dick?
That's
sweet. Get those radio waves, and it's going to go out into the world, and he's going to see it.
So I heard a thing once.
So wait, let me finish. Just let me finish with him. It's just mind blowing, right? And they didn't give his medals. They gave his family the medals in '84. They didn't give him the medals, and they still won't give him the record times, and it's because he's Native American. Yeah, and they removed him from the equation. They made him like he was never there. They ghosted him for. It's still going on now, but it's just mind blowing. Like somebody will say Muhammad Ali, athlete of the century. Joe Montana, athlete of the century. This guy, professional boxer, professional football player, professional baseball player, won a whole bunch of medals in the Olympics. I mean, it's insane how profound
Why do
he
they?
is.
Do you think it's just because of the Indian thing, or is it?
Was it definitely the Indian thing? Because there were like 24 American Olympic athletes that played some. He was on an A-League baseball team, and they gave him a couple of paychecks. And there were a whole bunch of athletes that did the same thing, and they made sure.
So they put him for that because saying he wasn't an amateur athlete.
Yeah.
Well, so I heard something once. I don't know how true this is. That one time they did a science experiment where they had Jim Thorpe. They had a 2-year-old child, and they said mimic the child, like sit in this room with the child and do everything the kid.
Oh
does.
yeah, it was a hyperactive kid. And he fell apart after 90 minutes.
Who did it?
Jim Thorpe.
Who's that?
The kid broke
The guy I'm talking about.
Oh, they put him in a study with him?
Yeah, so the kid would stand up and fall down, and fall forward, fall back, fail, and pick this up, grab this, and he had to do everything that the kid did. Kids are moving like light speed.
Yeah, but you got to understand, I realized this at a very young age. When I learned this, it was weird for me. I used to take animals. I had this big balcony in our house, and I would take little bugs and animals I would catch, and I'd drop them from the balcony. And the heavier the bug was, the more it would be damaged. I could drop an ant, and it was totally fine. The amount of extra mass you have on your body is like...
That's the point.
The caloric costs, the damage that it hits on your joints and everything like that. Like, the lighter you are, like these really light rock climbers like Alex Honnold, he's got these gorilla hands, but behind it, he's just got like a stick figure.
Yeah,
he just climbs all day long.
He's 157 pounds.
But if he dropped from El Capitan, he was dead, no matter where he was from.
Yeah, but if you drop from 100 feet, you're dead. I free solo every week, 100 feet. I'm out there by myself. Here's the thing about Alex Honnold. Taking nothing away from him for doing El Capitan.
I just want people listening to know that Bobby climbs a lot.
Yeah. In 1985, John Backer and Peter Croft, who's in the movie, John Backer was climbing 512D, the hardest climb in the world, free soloing, 512D. The hardest climb in the world at the time was 513D, four grades harder. Here we are 30 years later. There were no rock climbing gyms in 1985. Right? There was no, my mom put me in the gym, this is what Alex says, when he was 8 years old and left me there all day, and that's what I did, developed these fingers. John Backer, when he was in college, said to his dad, who's a professor over at UCLA, I'm quitting school and becoming a professional climber. His father said there's no such thing. He goes, well, I'm going to be the first one. So 4 grades lighter than the hardest climb in the world. He's free soloing. There's pictures of him running up El Cap with Peter Croft. This is 30 years ago. No, not the same climbing gear, nothing. Honnold's doing the same grade, 512D, 30 years later, and the hardest climb in the world is 515D, which is 12 grades harder. That's how much better of a climber John Backer was. And when he's on Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel says, you're the only one that does this, and he says yes, he needs to say, no, these guys 30 years ago that didn't have climbing gyms, and there was no professional climbing and no such thing, no cameras following them around. Peter Croft's in the movie with him. He goes, I wouldn't have a camera crew around me. If you remember Peter Croft, he's an older guy, old grizzled face, because he's out in the Sierras all the time.
Right.
Peter, when are you going to climb Washington Column, free solo, 2,000 feet? I'll be there on Wednesday. Okay, we're all going to show up. Cameras, everything all set up in the field. Peter was there on Monday.
The day before, yeah.
Yeah, Peter does it the day before and doesn't show anybody what he does. He does it because he loves climbing. Alex sits there and says he does it because he loves climbing. Well, why do you have camera crews with you? He also spent 10 years climbing that same thing.
That route?
10 years. Oh, yeah. 2 years with Jimmy Chin and the camera crew before they filmed it. You could do it, Eddie. You could do it.
No.
And this is not to take anything away from Alex for doing it. It's amazing. I'm not taking anything away from him. But at the same time, give the people the due. 30 years ago, John Backer was doing the same thing. Practically the same thing. There were just no camera crews. And he didn't want a camera crew. Nor did Peter. Well, John on the other side, Backer was a ham. He did Gillette commercials, all kinds of stuff. He made great money. But he changed the sport of climbing. He made fingerboards. He did things that were profound to change it. Now, Alex is still, again, I would never sit there and say that was an amazing feat.
Well, it's the same in every sport. It's hard to compare athletes back in the day to athletes now because of all the changes in the sport.
Larry Bird would get his ass handed to him today.
Well, bringing up Jim Thorpe, though. Jim Thorpe
Larry
would hang
Bird
with these guys.
Didn't have all of the things
LeBron James has.
That LeBron James has.
Yeah, he didn't have the athleticism at all. He had the shot. He had a better shot than three-pointer and all that.
But he didn't have all the training methods.
People like Steph Curry. Just
Who?
dirt. He'd be like Steph Curry.
Okay, you want to give me a basketball, and you guys will agree with this. Pete Maravich.
What?
You take Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete. He invented the behind the back. He still has the most points in college. Listen to this. He died of a massive heart attack at 40 years old playing church pickup ball in the back of a church. The guy had, this is 100%.
He died of a heart attack at 40?
He had 1/4 use of his heart. That's all that worked. 3/4 of his heart was shut down. They said this was physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually impossible for him to be alive, let alone play basketball. You take Michael Jordan, remove 3/4 of his heart. You think he'd play ball? LeBron
Was it genetic
James?
or he just ate terrible food?
Dude, no. He had a genetic predisposition where his heart was shut down. They said he should have had a heart attack at 12 years old going up a
just
flight
ate
of
hot dogs
stairs.
out the bag.
I saw a really
His human
funny.
spirit was immense. So I hands down go, that's the best basketball player that ever
I
lived.
saw a funny meme the other day, and it was Michael Jordan playing beer pong. And
Beer pong?
Everybody's going to get lit.
Yeah, that's what it said. Somebody's getting drunk tonight.
Beer pong. Michael Jordan would throw a party for $1 million down in like the Bahamas. He'd just buy furniture, have somebody build furniture, take $1 million, spend it for one night for one party.
God, I would love to do that.
$1 million.
That's the way to go, though.
That is the way to go.
That's big,
What's
isn't
the
it?
point of having all that money unless you're just going to go like a
He's
crazy
having fun.
person?
Crazy
He's having
with
fun.
it.
Yeah.
I was just in Hobart, Tasmania, and there's a guy down there. My wife, we had to be there. I had to do a gig, and Lauren's like, "I'm coming with you. There's a museum I want to go to in Hobart called MONA, the Museum of Old and New Art." And I was like, "I'm not going to a museum." And she was like, "Eddie, you're going to fucking love this place." So you have to take a ferry to get there, and then the ferry ride takes like 15, 20 minutes. And the story, I started researching before I went.
Didn't they have like a mass shooting there like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
I actually listened to a podcast and it was pretty scary.
So the guy that owns this museum, David Wallace, won close to $1 billion gambling. He's like a Rain Man. He figured out an algorithm to win at the horses, and I guess just like
Win at the horses?
Yeah, win at the horses. So lost a lot of money, but won a lot of money. And when they win really big. So he won, I think, $800 million. I think that's what they said. I could be off on that number, but so
a lot of money.
So he ended up buying a lot of art, and then he finally said, "Well, I want to show everybody."
Did you buy
my
any
art.
Hunter's clown pictures?
So he created this museum that has it's all his art that he owns. And it's the weirdest art. He's into sex, death, and shit.
He's into what?
Sex, death, and shit.
Like everybody poop books?
He bought a guy's...
That's not art. Dude, that's not art.
Well, that's the argument.
Did you see what Sacha Baron Cohen did where he did that artist skit where basically he went into an art gallery and act like he was an inmate, basically a reformed inmate.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And he had been doing art in his jail cells with like his poop and semen and
shits
stuff.
on it, yeah.
And like really just goes in to this woman. It's like, yeah. She's like, "Oh, this art's very interesting." He's like, "Yeah, I just pooped on it. Like, I drew that with my poop.
excrement."
Yeah.
There's no joke.
Come on.
Yeah, but listen.
Come on.
But hold on. There was one of the displays was a machine that creates shit. It is a robot that they put a plate of food under, and they put it up, and it goes through all these chambers. I'll show you pictures and videos of it. And it goes through and there's gastric juices and hydrochloric acid and everything that goes on. And then at the end, it puts out a turd. And that's just one of like many
Does it
things.
stink?
He bought a guy's skin. He liked the guy's tattoos, and he said, "I'll give you like $1 million for your skin." And the guy goes, "What's this entail?" He goes, "You have to live in my museum." So the guy just sits on a box in the museum.
What's the ETA? How long is he?
He was all day, every day while the museum's
For how long?
open.
Has he got like a contract for a year?
I
or
think
something?
like 20 years or something. Then he bought another guy's art, but he bought basically a future on it. I think it would be considered a future. It's like a bet. He said, "I'm filming you all day long." And he has cameras all over this guy that's living in England somewhere. And if the guy dies, he's only paid X amount. It's like a life insurance policy. He's only paid so much into it.
What a bizarre thing. Think about
sick
this.
and twisted.
So sick and twisted.
No,
but so cool. You have
but
to
think
go
of how
there.
bizarre the stuff we're talking about is. Like, he's doing something for physicality. There's no money involved, and he's looking
doing
to prove
it for
a
his
point.
ego.
But so much, for physicality and ego
What do
and
you
stuff.
think your job is?
But it's personal.
You sack
But
of
it's
shit.
personal stuff. But
I make people happy.
so much of the stuff that we're talking about, like this guy's doing this, that guy's doing that guy. It's all about money. What a joke.
Well,
Right?
the
The money thing is a joke.
Hold
to me.
on. This guy-
I understand that runs the world.
This guy made a really good point in an interview I read with David Wallace. He said, "I won my money in a world that is just like, it's just like moving money from like one side of a column to the other. It's just like trading money or gambling." And he said, and it was kind of like in an unethical means. And he goes, "So I figured I'd take that money and I'd put it back into the world in a good way." So he created this museum. It's actually revitalized Hobart, Tasmania. Like, people come there just to see the museum. They have a whole tourist thing.
See, that's cool. I think that's what money should be used for, to do good things.
I want to do it. If I get successful, I want to do it just like the crocodile hunter. Like, every dollar he made, he just kept on buying more reservation land. And I would hopefully become successful enough that I could just have like a baller-ass safari. in
You
my
just
ranch in
told us you
Malibu.
want to have $1 million party.
Yeah, but I would. At my safari ranch. Rip shit up. Yeah, I can also have parties and be a nice guy, you jackass.
Well, my hope is that Stratosphere makes people not sick anymore, because more money is spent on healthcare and all this nonsense than anything else. I would like to build 8 billion machines so you get in a machine and you don't have to be sick.
Dude, you can't. You got to take the donuts out of people's mouths.
Yeah, you're not going to
I hope
stop
that machine
this.
is as successful as you want it to be, but I just witnessed a situation where
The food is
like,
insane.
Just being around overweight people. Like I hope
It's
that this
insane.
doesn't come across negatively, but a lot of these people just do not care to step away from it.
No.
They just don't.
No,
They
they're
understand
They're
that-
addicted. It takes a long time for them to get sick. It's not like, hey,
It takes a
eating this
long-
is
Once
bad.
you
You
get-
can eat
once
it
you-
for years. And
It's a very important part of this.
The worst part about it is once you get sick-
takes a long
Time.
time to get sick, and they don't realize
how
it.
sick they're getting.
But the worst part about it is once they get sick, is they have people holding their hand when they get there. Like, you literally can go places and like, they'll just keep on giving you medicine. They give you a fucking little shitty rascal to ride around in Walmart. Like, when I was living in Florida, dude, I was blown away. South Beach, best looking tits and ass you'll ever see, and everybody's got a six pack. You go 10 miles inland, and it's just like it's insane. It's like a totally different world.
Our culture teaches you, though, there's a pill for everything.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, get sick. We can take care of you.
But it's not a pill for anything,
You travel
right? It's a
around
pill
all
for
these-
treating symptoms.
Yeah.
It's a joke. There's no cures.
That's going to create other symptoms.
Exactly.
But you go
And
around all
worse.
these other cultures, like when I was traveling the world doing that Boundless show, everybody looked like the three of us. Like, you could see abs on almost everybody. It was so hard for me to find a fat person.
I've thought that too. I was in Australia and I was like, oh, we're not seeing fat people. But then I looked up statistically, and they're not far behind us. So I think it was just that I was in the cities like, Sydney and Adelaide, where city people are a lot better off than you go out into the suburbs where people just look like shit. So I don't know. I think, like, I was looking at where America is because I was like, oh, we must be the most obese country in the world.
No, dude, Asia. Japan's got the worst diabetes.
Really?
Yeah.
Bobby, you're gonna don't give the dog any more of that.
Dude, they love heart.
I've had so many problems with that dog puking and shitting.
Never puke from heart. You'll see. It's like the cold medicine. Same stuff. Dude, it's what you need.
He's calling it cold medicine.
Okay, so listen. If I take blue dye and I put it on this heart and I eat just that, predominantly the blue dye will show up on my heart. Your body knows to use that to regenerate that organ.
What do you mean?
It's
Wait,
been done.
explain this again.
You know how you do dye tests to check different things in the body? They give you a dye test to kind of check something out, and the dye has to show up on that organ or on that thing.
Right.
Okay, so when you eat this, you're just like your body knows where to send carbohydrates, protein, and sugar, and all this other things. When you eat the heart, so much of the dye, predominantly the dye, shows up on the heart. Your body's
So you're saying
It's
that
used
heart goes to your heart.
to regenerate the heart. think about all the stuff that's in there that's almost identical to what's in your heart.
So
that's why Chinese are really big on organs and organ meat.
Everybody should be into organ meat. I just hate
100%.
it.
But the Chinese also
there's great organ pills.
grind up like rhino tusk and snort it. And think that they're going to have.
That's all illegal stuff. So that's not everybody does that. They don't do the illegal stuff, but they do bear stuff and gallbladder and all kinds of stuff. But if you're going to kill the animal and we're going to eat the elk meat, this is some of the healthiest stuff that you can do is eat some of the organ stuff for regeneration of tissue in your body. It just makes sense.
I was with a guy this weekend in Montana that told me he just killed an antelope. And he's like, it's the best meat there is. Antelope. You ever had it?
No.
Supposedly there's some kind of rare deer in Canada that is actually like...
the axis deer?
Some kind of weird deer. I don't know
what
it is.
Axis deer, I think it is.
Best tasting
that's what he
meat on
said.
the planet.
He
what
said
is
the
it?
same thing.
Antelope?
Axis deer.
Axis what?
Axis deer.
Oh, really?
Like it's a different... We have whitetail and mule, but I think in different parts of America they have axis deer. And I've heard guys on Rogan talk about it, hunter guys, that axis deer is really good and they want to...
and at the end of the day, if I didn't have to kill or eat anything and I could just breathe air and drink water,
me too.
I would actually rather do that.
Sure,
I'd like to get to a position where I could kill and like actually harvest all my own meat. This month I've been trying. This is exhausting trying to do this. Not do anything that's in single-serve packaging. So, like, if I go to the store, I couldn't get a bowl of buy a cereal box. I couldn't buy a Gatorade. I couldn't buy... when I went to the store, did you see what I got today? Like, I got glass bottles. Glass bottles, I said, was okay, but all I did was get that tray of cardboard with food that was already from the self-serve bar, and I didn't get any of the cookies and shit that we usually like to eat and all, like, the chocolate, everything like that. I just want to see because I'm creating so much trash.
Oh,
the trash thing's crazy.
It's insane.
Ridiculous.
Like, today I woke up and, like, I just had leftover stuff in my house. I have had 2... quarter gallons of, or maybe it's even half gallon of yogurt, and then I finish a whole jar of jam. Like that in one day is just that. I'll buy like 3 of these bottles, then all.
But the bottles at least can recycle.
But these are. Imagine if they were plastic though. Like I'm saying, like usually
the
the way that I go,
awful.
I wake up in the morning, I eat all this food, then I'll go down the hill to go train, and I'll stop at a gas station. I'll get a bunch of protein bars, a bunch of drinks, a bunch of beef jerky. All trash. Go to the gym, buy a couple Fit Aid cans there, all trash. Go to Trader Joe's afterwards, buy all those self-made like chicken chicken curry and stuff. Trash. Then lunch, meal, whatever.
It's if you see we clean our beaches, but if you look at beaches in like in the Maldives, I went to the good islands where they clean the beaches all day long. But if you go off to like some of the other atolls where they don't clean them because that's near India and Sri Lanka. It's just mountains and mountains of a lot of plastic bottles. One of the worst culprits is the Keurig cups, those little things that everybody puts their coffee.
Oh, really?
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Once I read about it, we stopped and we do the reusable ones where you open it up and just put the coffee inside and then use it, and then you can just clean it right afterwards. But
my friend was just in Thailand, said the same thing.
I can't believe we've outlawed straws like here in California, but not
plastic bottles. Like you outlaw the smallest piece of plastic.
Involved. That there's money involved. It's the water companies and all the companies saying it's no different than this.
Everything goes back to lobbying.
On Stratosphere, I have to use alloys to be PVH, OASME. Those are the codes. So I have to use aluminum, titanium, or carbon steel. I said, well, why can't we use carbon fiber? And they said, well, it hasn't been tested. I said, sure it has. You ever hear of a space shuttle, rockets? and he said, Bob, that's the military. They can kill as many people as they want, and they don't have to answer to anybody. So you're putting public and pressurizing them above 10,000 feet in a chamber. You have to use these alloys. And I said to him right away, how much of this has to do with the steel companies, titanium and aluminum? And they got quiet.
Yeah.
They said, well, there's definitely politics involved. So it's the same thing as electric cars and gas, right? Yeah. So think about the plastic bottles and how big that is and how they make the water. Of course, they're gonna sit there and say, no. We got to keep going. We got to keep going.
Well, what's plastic made of?
Petroleum.
Yeah.
It never stops.
There it is.
Yeah. Rockefeller.
Did you see that movie Vice? With the Dick Cheney movie?
Yeah.
Holy crap, that scared the hell out of me. It made me... I've always loved George Bush because he's such a knucklehead, but they made him look really bad in that.
I don't think they made him look bad. I think that was probably pretty
I know,
close
but it
to
just
reality.
like kind of...
Listen, when Michael Moore did Fahrenheit 9/11, right?
I haven't seen that.
There were people that were sitting behind me in the movie theater saying, I wonder where they got that actor to play George Bush. And I turned around and I looked at this one person. I said, well, it was George Bush. No, it wasn't. The president wouldn't do those things.
I've heard from people.
Can you believe that?
I've heard from people that know him. He's like the coolest dude in the world.
I know.
When it comes to,
he would be perfect to have this
farming,
table.
when it comes to farming and fishing and kicking around and talking about stuff, he's great to hang out with.
Yeah, I used to do a joke about it. I said, look, I like Barack Obama as a politician, but I wouldn't want to party with him. I'd much rather party with George Bush. But even though George didn't drink anymore, I'd still want to hang out with him because you'd be like, hey, you want to go smash some mailboxes? And George would be like, I'll drive. Here's my favorite bat.
Dude, I've tried to smash mailboxes with bats. It does not pan out well at all.
Oh, they used to do it in my neighborhood.
First you swing, and then it hits, and it reverberates back in your arm.
It's bad.
Came back and smashed the window of my friend's car. I did it with a hammer one time.
Microphone.
Oh, sorry. I did it with a hammer one time. I almost ripped my arm off. I tried to rip off the mailbox. We were going like 20, 30 miles an hour. Hit it, came back, smashed the window immediately. I mean,
dude, we would run at them and hit them. Dude, one of my friends hit one that was cemented in.
Ooh.
Oh,
broke your shoulder?
Car?
No, running. Full run. Drive your shoulder and just crack the, my buddy ran into one that was cement.
You crack a shoulder?
Okay.
Oh, he hit it and it just slammed to his head. His feet came up in the air. It was like he was clotheslined.
Okay, so in high school, there were these kids that had a fort in the woods near my house, and they were all older kids. And one time their beer got stolen, and it showed up magically in my shitty fort on the roof in my yard. So they all wanted to kill me, but they didn't realize one of their guys defected and did it and planted it on me. So they all wanted to kill me. And so my mailbox got smashed that weekend. So my dad, I knew who did it. I'm like, it's this guy, Scott Shepard. I'm like, Scott Shepard smashed our mailbox, blah, blah, blah. And then it started happening every week. My dad would get a new mailbox. It would get smashed. We'd get a new one. Finally, my dad started buying this indestructible mailbox that was like literally made of like some kind of crazy steel. And they would it was cemented in the ground. There were metal rods in between inside the wood and, drilled down through it. And they ran into it once, dented their car. They shot it with a slug of a shotgun and it put a dent in it. And this was just going on regularly. And I was like, God, these kids fucking hate me.
Just backwood Pennsylvania boys.
Well, I'm good friends with all those kids now. And I found out that after they knocked down my mailbox and smashed it, my dad went over to their house, and my dad's admitted to this, tied Scott Shepard's mailbox to the back of his bumper.
Just ripped it.
And just drove away. And so then it became a war between my dad. But my dad never let us know this as
Is your
kids.
dad the Kahn side of the family?
No, that's my mom's side.
Because Billy Kahn's father, William Kahn, they called him Westinghouse.
Yeah.
When the cops roughed him up, he was walking down the street with his wife, and he saw one of the cops that roughed him up and beat the shit out of him in the street.
That's Greenfield. That's
how you
people
handle business back in the day.
But I'm friends with these guys now, and they said it became they would get to school and be like, how are we going to destroy Eddie F's mailbox? And finally, it was they tried a stick of dynamite. They put
we used to take
quarter stick.
We used to take road flares and put them in
the
the plastic ones, and it just burst into flames, melt them down to the ground. Yeah, that was like the best trick I ever figured out.
Yeah, these guys are all fucking idiots. I was at a party a bunch of summers ago in Pennsylvania, and it got dark out, and fireworks started going. It was a bonfire party, and all of a sudden I heard an explosion, and I said, "What is that?" And my friend goes, "Oh, that's just so and so. He's lighting off acetylene bombs." And I was like, what? And I think from what he explained, they put like acetylene in a garbage bag and then take wax paper and tie it around as a wick and then just light the wax paper and run away. And it would put a crater in the ground. Like that's how big the explosion was.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's some dangerous stuff.
Wax paper and what?
The chemical, I think, is called acetylene, and then they put it in a garbage can. And just when the fire
chemicals. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
All right, what time is it? We have to go to Home Depot.
We got a Home Depot.
All right. It was a good show.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I had a blast.
Hunter, what did they do? How can they help you?
Who? The Heart?
No, the listeners to get you to the games.
Listen,
I think they should just, if somebody heard this podcast, they should just have him at the games because he's a popular guy and he's done all this stuff. Why wouldn't you have him? It'd be cool to see what he's going to do, right? That's it.
He didn't fucking qualify. I'm just kidding.
The way I'd be most excited. Well, see, here's what I'm also trying to
Yeah,
do.
but there's a
that I
wild
don't-
card.
Yeah.
Why can't he be a wild card?
What I'm trying to also do in the same year
Perfect
is
for
a
that.
pull a Bo Jackson. I would like to go to the games, kick ass in what I'd like to kick ass in, and then go back and go to Tahoe, which is our Spartan Race World Championships, and come top 5 there again. I just want to have fun. Like, I'm not taking.
We know,
Yeah.
Hunter.
Well, what's
You're
your guys'
like-
problem? Like, I'm still an athlete. I mean, if I was just like some kind of chump change athlete who hadn't done anything, I've won countless world titles, won countless television shows. I could stay in the industry I've got right now and just keep on racking up cash and titles. It wouldn't change my day.
Let me ask
Like, I
you
don't
this
need it.
question. I see you. You're always happy-go-lucky. Everything's a joke. Everything's funny. Do you ever get serious?
I'm serious about training every single day, but am I going to sit
No,
here
I
and be
watch
all
you
like,
train. You wear like pink sunglasses and fucking speedos.
yeah, but that's for
That's all
a
in
video.
fun.
That
That's all in
captures
fun.
15 seconds of what I do for 5 hours every single day.
So you do take your training seriously. What about when you're in an event? I've heard you yell at people, out of my way, bitch.
Yeah, but I smash them. I take it seriously. I mean, listen, why would I be
Tell
blessed
him
with...
the thing that you say. Hunter is your motto while you're running.
Oh, dude, it was from this like really shitty comedy movie about this like these aliens that came to the world and like were meant to destroy the world, and they got here and they really liked it. They're all dressed up in like purple outfits and red outfits. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. And their lord was named Kroger. And I watched this movie at a young age, and he'd be like, "Kroger is the strongest. Kroger is the best." And I'll just
And
run
Kroger's
around
the fastest. So when he's competing, that's what he's saying.
the whole time.
Hunter
It's
is
unbelievable.
the best.
And I'm wrecking people. And like every single time I pass somebody, I'm like, "Hunter is the greatest. You'll never touch me." And
I had a guy one time, I was running a 400-meter dash race, and I think it's 4x400. And I got the baton, and I'm running, and I hear this dude behind me, this big black dude, just going, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you."
Did he get
I
you?
mean, for 400 meters, this guy's going, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you." And it was scaring the fuck out of me. And I think I ran the fastest 400 I've ever run.
It's called
And-
strategy.
And he did not catch me, though, because he scared me to run faster. The way he was like, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you."
yeah, well, I hope that it worked out in your circumstance. But the reality is this. If you guys somehow follow me on social media and you get involved in some way, I'm not going to ask you to do any one thing. Just comment, share it, get other people involved. Also, just send Dave Castro as many messages as possible and harass the hell
I
out
think
of him.
Glassman, too. But I don't know how you get a hold of Glassman.
Dude, oh god, this is an embarrassing story, and then we got to cut it. I was like really frustrated one day. This is when I take them seriously. Like when I wake up in the morning before training, I get on my phone and I have notes of like people I need to contact every day to get my goals achieved. And I'll look through it and I'll just start contacting people. And I'm just like in this dead end street. I'm like, I don't know how to get a hold of this guy, Greg Glassman. I've contacted PR companies. I've contacted like people who are executives. Like I've asked the people through Fit Aid who sponsor the CrossFit Games. Like nobody can get a hold of the guy who's the emperor of this empire. I'm like, come on.
You know who can?
What's that?
Mike Anderson.
Well, supposedly, I had you supposedly go there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to talk to him for you, Hunter. I promise." That's what everybody says. So I'm like, "Fuck this! I'm sick and tired of like asking people for favors that never ends up following through." So my mom calls me. She's like, "You sound so frustrated," and I'm like, "Yeah, like I can't get a hold of this guy. Like it's so confusing. I'd rather just have him. If I picked up the phone, I was like, "Hey, man, how do I get in?" And if he's like, "All right, this is what you need to do to get in," and I don't even guarantee you're going to get in, that's better than nothing. Or if he's like, "Fuck you, you're not getting in," I'd be like, okay, at least I respect the idea that I have some certainty in my life. So she's like, "Oh, let me try to get a hold of him." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, Mom." She's like, "I used to be an executive recruiter. Let me try." Literally within 2 hours, my mom's friend had found his information on a database and called him. Calls him. She goes, "Hi, is this Greg Glassman?" He goes, "Yes." And then she just like, okay, and hangs up. So then he goes on to call her like a dozen times at the same number, then calls the office building that she's working at, gets a hold of somebody, and is like, "Someone called me from this number. I think I need, I would like to speak with them." Finally, they get on the phone together. She says, "Oh, I meant to call another Greg." And she said he was the nicest guy ever. They spoke for a while. Really, really great guy. It was a great great conversation. Wouldn't expect anything less. He's a good guy. Next thing you know, she's like, "Well, now that I have you on the phone, my friend's son likes to run Spartan races.
Oh, Jesus.
And he wants to run in your CrossFit Games," and like completely butchered what we were trying to do, and it was incredibly embarrassing, but
All right, so
that's my only contact.
The hashtag is Get Hunter to the Games. If you know a way for anyone to get a hold of Glassman or Castro, bug them, tell them that we want Hunter in
When are the games?
freaking July 29th. You coming?
Where are they?
Dude, let's show up in
Where are they?
Broncos, and we'll have like a
Where
trunk
are they?
full of Cobras.
Madison, Wisconsin. Hunter,
So great. This
Hunter,
is
if you get the wild card, I'm
this is how
coming.
you get. This is how you get him to the games. We go to the games, and he's in the games. Who's going to stop us?
There's just
How you
dozens-
doing? This is Hunter. He's in the games. You got a problem with that?
Dozens of security
Got a
guards.
Buffalo heart here for you. You know, it'll all work out.
Hunter, if you
What are they going to say? No.
if you get into the games, Bobby and I are renting a Winnebago, and we're going with you, and that's where you're going to stay.
I've got hordes of people coming to the games. If
No,
I get
we're
in.
getting a
It's going to be
Winnebago.
freaking awesome. Everyone's going to be wearing like in mullets and with beer hats on.
Oh my
we're
God!
going to be ripping shit
I
up.
will wear a fucking Speedo the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
Speedo. Eddie in a Speedo at the games.
Yeah.
With his radio wave penis.
My 167 pounds.
There you go, dude. Listen, we're gonna have a good time. I hope to see everybody there, and I appreciate everyone listening and to squawk for an hour.
we'll be grilling fucking elk heart out
There's
at the
no grill in the
Winnebago.
heart. You eat it
Cut
raw.
us
Look how
two
red
pieces-
it got. Look how red
Cut
it
us
got.
two
'cause it's
pieces
done.
and let's just take a quick bite.
I'm
before
not
this
doing
thing
it.
turns
I'm
up.
not doing it.
Just do
No.
it, dude.
No, I'm not
take this
doing it.
beer too to wash it down.
No, I'm not doing it,
dude.
Fuck off.
Honestly, dude.
Bobby,
just stop
where
being so
can
fucking
they
weird.
find
Just
you?
a quick bite.
Instagram.
I don't need to be found.
Bobby doesn't want to be found.
I don't need to be
That's
found.
crazy,
I'm
Bobby.
good.
He doesn't
Hey.
give a shit.
Okay. Just small
guys.
pieces.
Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
These guys are gonna. Hunter's going to eat the fucking elk heart right now.
Seriously, it tastes like roast beef or raw meat.
I get it.
Here he goes.
You do dumb shit all the time.
It really doesn't taste that bad at all.
Not bad.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat it.
Your dogs ate it.
Yeah, good for them. All right, so thanks for listening to the Wadcast podcast. I'm a pussy. I don't eat elk heart. Or
Just eat it, dude.
no, I'm not going to.
Joe Rogan.
I'm not going
Joe
to.
Rogan's Elkhart. Eat it.
Yeah.
He'll put you on his podcast.
Thanks for listening. Check out all my dates at eddief.com. Rate, review, and comment on iTunes. And thanks for supporting the show.